the title of his book, and he has a DVD that says, "Listen to the men,
Yes.
think for yourself."
Yes, ma'am.
Now, first of all, you tell me to listen to somebody. I do listen occasionally, and I will take constructive criticism with a grain of salt. But I like the idea that we still need to think for ourselves. So,
Yes.
tell me a little bit about Ron Jefferson. You said that you returned back to Arkansas about 10 years ago. Where did you go?
I did. I am a redhead country boy from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And back during the mid 60s, so I'm telling on myself and I don't mind, a lot of us black people were moving to other parts of the country, the Midwest, the Eastern Seaboard, for better job opportunities. I was 6 years old when my mother took me to Detroit, Michigan. So I want to give a shout out to all my family and people in Detroit. And I grew up there. I went to school there. I endeavored in so many different adventures in life in Detroit, and had to come back home to Pine Bluff 10 years ago because all of those job opportunities that existed back then, as we all know, employment and economic opportunities have changed drastically. So I had to relocate and come back home to Pine Bluff, Arkansas 10 years ago due to employment. But also my mother had come back previously a few years before I did. And so I had to come back home, take care of my beautiful mother who is now resting in heaven with the Lord. And I've just been on a mission ever since I've come back home to Pine Bluff, and I'm just happy to be here in Arkansas.
Well, I want to take a moment to say happy belated birthday to one of my listeners and a good friend, Miss Carolyn Benson Torrance. She just celebrated her birthday. Pastor Jesse Turner from down there in Pine Bluff is watching.
Yes.
Miss Mia Gaston Mason is watching, and also my co-host and partner over LaGloria is there. And I know we have several other people that are listening to us. And I want to take a moment to talk about last Tuesday. We spent some time in Pine Bluff. At least every time we publish, we spend about a full day in Pine Bluff, and we are going to move that up to a couple of times a month.
Wonderful.
Because we are determined to. Pine Bluff is one of our, for me, one of my 5-star African American cities, and we must do what is necessary to tell our story.
Absolutely.
And to do what's necessary. I can say that in an effort to look like they're reaching the African American community, the Pine Bluff Commercial has hired a African American publisher.
Yes, yes.
And I had the opportunity to meet her. She is amazing and very talented, very gifted. And we visited while we were down there.
Okay.
But we are looking to really develop a strong Pine Bluff Talk section of the Arkansas Talks newspaper. Arkansas Talks newspaper is on the street. That was the edition commemorating the 60th anniversary of the Central High integration. And the week leading up to that, the week following that, and even now, there's still amazing conversation going on about that 60th anniversary. And for those of you that are busy and don't really take the time, try to imagine you being 14 or 15 years old. It's challenging enough to go to a different school, but if you go to a school where all of the parents and many of the students are gathered around you, screaming all kind of obscenities, and the governor of the state has misused the law and decided to use the National Guard to keep you out of the school.
Yes.
And you can't help but wonder just what had to be the feeling, the motivation that led them to continue to try, to go on anyway, and if you think that one voice or a few people can't make a difference, use that as an example and see what happened.
Mm.
That changed people all over the world,
It did.
you know.
Yes.
And unlike the situation we're in now with the leadership in D.C., the then president knew that that was not okay what the governor was doing, and he used his power to send the federal troops, 101st Airborne Division. I think they said it was like 1,500 personnel. They came down and did what was necessary and escorted them into the classes, and the rest is history. And many of them I know. I'm still working on getting with Phyllis Brown because I want her story on what it was like in the house with Minnie Jean, her sister, who was one of the Little Rock Nine. But we have to be mindful every day in our actions to know that we are an oppressed society, and we have to be constantly aware of what we need to do to keep that oppression from damaging our dreams
Yes.
and eroding our passion.
Yes.
You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I want to say thank you to Ms. Abrams for her work. We distributed almost all of our newspapers. They are everywhere from Jonesboro to Fort Smith, Arkadelphia, Texarkana. Thank you, Ms. Renee Henderson, for all that you do. Ms. Eartha Dobbins, Ms. Abrams on her own delivered to 25 churches Sunday morning before she went to church. She just loves the paper. And she's just celebrated her 86th birthday.
Congratulations.
And she doesn't seem to be slowing down at all.
Happy birthday. That's
so
wonderful.
These are the things that we want to focus on. I had said we want to talk about leadership a little bit, leadership accountability. And, we have a president. I don't believe he knows that Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. I don't think he knows that the people in Puerto Rico are U.S. citizens.
A better question or statement is does he even care?
He doesn't care. Because if he did, he would listen to his advisors. Most leaders listen to people around them.
I can't imagine the last time Donald Trump probably has listened to anyone other than himself.
Right. That's true.
And that's the problem, I believe, with that young man.
Yeah. Well, I don't usually call his name on my show. We usually refer to him as number 45. And thanks to LeBron James, sometimes we just call him that guy.
Yeah, I just said that young man because just to give him the privilege of even attaching his name to that high office of president doesn't fit. So I'll say Trump, or I'll say that young man. I try to respect him as a person and as a man, but as being dignified for that office, he doesn't qualify in my estimation at all.
We all know that, and I still charge the leadership for allowing this to happen, and allowing it to go on for so long. But my prayers go out to Robert Mueller. My prayers go out to the leadership in D.C., and I know that it is the Spirit of God that can change people. And it is my understanding, talking to French Hill, that they have, I think he said they have prayer every morning when they're in session. I want to say he said around 7 o'clock, but we know that prayer does work, and so we're hopeful that it works in the right way.
Yes. Prayers of a righteous man avails much.
Yes, and you don't hear him talking that much about Creator, whoever he believes in, whatever he believes, he does. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I want to recap a little bit what we have in the paper. If you do not have a copy, we've posted digital copies online from the Arkansas Talks Facebook page, and you can get them locally at all of the popular places: Community Bakery, Sims, Hogs, Blues Cafe up in North Little Rock, they're at Lindsay's, they're at the library, they're wherever you need for them to be. And if they're not there, then you need to just let me know and we'll make sure they are there. One thing that we've got on the front cover, we're talking about the victory over violence, that has really been supported greatly by Mr. Kellerman, and last week we had Donna Terrell on our show talking about the victory over violence because of the amount of violence that goes on in Arkansas. So victory over violence, they have a schedule of events coming up. I do have that schedule in this copy of the paper, but most importantly, we want to talk about the prayer vigil that they are having. I believe it's this Monday at War Memorial Stadium. Okay. And we want everybody to support them and do what's necessary to address crime in our community.
Yes, yes.
The only one that can address crime in our community is us, that we come together in prayer, absolutely, in vigils, reach out to those people that feel disconnected and let them know that we care, and try to use our resources to get that information and to get the resources, yes, from a collaborative perspective to make it work in a positive way for our community.
Absolutely, you know? Yes.
Yes. And so we have that. I'm proud to say that one of my clients and part of the Arkansas Talks mission, little Miss ABC Sydney, she is an amazing young lady, and on October the 14th, there's going to be a great event at the church, I believe it's Tabernacle Church on 65th Street. The details is posted on our site, and she will be celebrating her 9th birthday. She will be celebrating 4 years of being a recitist. She recites Bible verses and all it. In addition to that, she sings and she plays the piano. But the exciting thing is that she's going to be releasing her DVD on October the 14th. Okay. And we want everybody to come out and support little Miss Sydney, and to make sure that we lift her up. She is a talented person, and her new book, she's got a book, and like I said, she's releasing a DVD. She said God made her that way.
That's all right.
And that's an exciting thing. I want to also remind you that the Republican Party of Arkansas, they've got a new, they've upgraded their offices, and they're going to have open house and ribbon cutting on October the 15th at 2 p.m. there on 1201 West 6th Street in Little Rock. They will be unveiling their new offices there. And surprisingly enough, on October 14th, the Republican Talent Extravaganza is going to take place at Ron Robinson Theater at 7 p.m. And you can get more information there from the Republican Party. So just wanted to make that announcement. There's so many things coming up, but I just wanted to make sure people got that information. Now let's get on this exciting